Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Thank you very much for joining in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you again this week. And today we'll be hearing a lot from our speaker from Nigeria. But in the meanwhile, we're going to give other participants that will be joining 5 minutes for them to join. Thank you very much for your understanding and thank you. I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm
Yes, we can
audible.
hear you.
Okay,
Yes, we
thank
can hear you
you.
clearly.
Thank you, everyone. Let's give them 5 minutes, please. Thank you. Okay, welcome again, everyone. So, I think we can start or we can continue and then, yeah, others can join us in the course of the webinar. So, welcome again, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar for today. Um, thank you. So, moving forward, we'll have some ground rules. These are just the rules that will will follow till the end of the webinar. Please, let's mute our microphones and mindful that we should all communicate with each other with respect. And don't forget to introduce yourself on the chat box and, build your network. You don't know, you might meet someone that be helpful in the future and all. You can share a LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn link to your LinkedIn page and all. You can also share your email, your name, where you're joining in from, where you're from. So let me start since I can't type. I am Mary Dora Kamara. I am from Sierra Leone and I'm joining in from Sierra Leone as well. So we can all introduce ourselves in the chat box and then connect with each other. Thank you. And moving forward, this is the webinar's agenda. We'll start by uh, introducing what the webinar is all about, and then we'll get to test ourselves to know how well we know Africa, and then present the guest speaker and go to question and answer session. Then we'll have our closing remark. Yeah. So I'm sure we all know that this webinar, this Africa Energy Series is organized by Magreen. Magreen is an organization posed at empowering Africans knowledge, with the knowledge as required for us to transition to clean energy and also help in combating climate change. This organization was founded by three young and beautiful women, ladies in Africa, West Africa to be precise, that have desire to contribute to the fight in combating climate change across Africa. And the vision of this organization is to build a community, a network of like minded people and organizations that are willing and ready to combat climate change, improve livelihood through clean and sustainable energy. So, going to the Africa Energy Webinar Series, I'm sure it's not news that there is a significant knowledge gap among African youth regarding climate action, net zero targets, and also energy transition in respective countries, as well as the continent at large. So, in the quest to address this challenge, we thought about bridging the knowledge gap. Hence, started the Af- Mark thought about starting the Africa Energy Series, which we're currently working on. And our aim is simple, but yet we want it to be impactful. We want it to go across different areas as we aim to educate and forge partnerships between countries for greater future and also for us to be able to know what this country has done that I can also implement in my country. So in that note, this is really this is really the aim for the Africa Energy Series with Margaret. So Margaret team. So this is actually Margaret. Margaret is co-founded. I said earlier that Margaret was co-founded by three, sorry. Oh, my bad. By three beautiful, young, intelligent, and elegant ladies, women. So, Mary Dora Kamara, myself, I'm the programs coordinator. We have Madam Aisha Suleiman Abba, she's our communication and partnership coordinator. And then we have Madam Georgette Celestine Uda, who happens to be our technical coordinator. So yeah, so we now want to test how well we know Africa. I'm sure we all know that today we have Nigeria as we have a Nigerian speaker that will be telling us everything we need to know about energy transition, net zero plans, national action plans, and a lot more regarding Nigerian or things that are happening in Nigeria. So in that note, we want to know what actually we know, how well we know Nigeria. Yeah. So kindly scan the QR code, or I can share the link on the group chat as well. Oh, the link is already on the group chat. You can just click the link and then you'll be able to, yeah, you'll be able to get access to the webinar. Sorry, to the Mentimeter where you can choose. So in the meanwhile, let me stop sharing and yeah.
So thank you so much, Mary, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. My name is Georgette Udor, and please confirm if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can. I'm sure we can.
Okay, great. I can see people have already gotten access to the Mentimeter. And please, for today, we're trying to make it very interesting. No biases because it's my country, but I'm happy to hear your thoughts and we get to learn from each other. So the first question on Mentimeter is, what is the capital of Nigeria? We have Lagos, we have Abuja, we have Port Harcourt, we have African Giant. So please tell us which is the correct answer. Okay, I can see 4 people have given their opinions already. Okay, so I'll show us the correct answer now. And yes, the correct answer is Abuja. The capital of Nigeria is FCT Abuja at the Federal Capital Territory. So on to our next question, which is, how many countries are bordering Nigeria? It could be 5, it could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 3. So let's see how well you know Africa. What countries are bordering Nigeria? How many of them? Okay. Okay, I can see everybody's giving their answers. It's rather interesting. So I think majorly 4 participants have been doing it. And unfortunately, that answer is wrong. Nigeria is bordered by Cameroon, Niger Republic, Benin Republic, and Chad. So it's 4 countries and not 5 countries. The southern part of Nigeria is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean, so we don't have any country there. So that's 4 countries instead of 5. And thank you for joining. So please, let's see the next question, which is, what is the currency used in Nigeria? Is it the Nigerian dollar? Is it shilling? Is it SEPA? Let's see the options. Okay, and 4 people got this one right. So in Nigeria, we use the Naira as in currency. And our last but not the least question, Nigerian flag consists of how many colors? Is it 2 colors or is it 3 colors? Okay. On an average, I think we actually know Africa. So Nigeria has 2 colors on the flag, which is green and white. So it's green, white, green flag that we have. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for giving us your time. And I'll pass it back now to Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Georgette. Thank you. We really know Nigeria. We really know Nigeria. Okay, thank you all for that. So we're going to, I hope you can all see my screen and you can hear me clearly, loud and clear.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Oh, now we go to our magnificent speaker for today. Our speaker is Chizoba Nzeko. Please, ma'am, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, I'm sorry, I apologize. Thank you. So, Miss Chizoba is an award-winning climate champion. She's an innovator, a researcher. She's an advocate and entrepreneur. She is a recognized future leader in the field of climate and clean energy. Wow. She is also the founder and CEO of Climate Technology Solutions, Zoba Advisory, and Caroline Raphael Events. She takes action by working with renewable energy firms, climate education organizations, and also institutions, accelerating the net zero goals. To create access to clean, apologies, to create access to clean energy and, oh, sorry, and help in transitioning to a world that is climate and environmentally friendly for all to live in. So, Madam Chizoba, I now hand over the presentation to you because this is your time and we want to hear from you. Kindly give me 1 minute to stop sharing. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. Happy Easter to the Christians, happy Ramadan to the Muslims, and for us that might not have, for the people that don't have religion, happy weekend. And I'm very happy to be on this call today. Thank you for all the hyping. Yeah. So I'm glad to be representing Nigeria on this call. Uh, I don't even know any other country I would have represented if not Nigeria. So thank you for having me. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great.
Oh, shit. I think you're muted. Can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm ready and let's roll with the presentation. So my moderator, please give me thank you.
Yeah, you can share your screen now. You can.
Okay, I really apologize because I didn't know I would be sharing a presentation, although I have some presentations on energy, but I didn't know I would be sharing a presentation on energy. But
No,
yeah, but I
it's okay.
present something. I thought it was a question and answer session.
Oh no, ma'am. Anything that is not like a question and answer, it's okay. It's just you can do your thing. You can do you. I mean, this is you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do you.
So, yeah, quickly, I would just go straight to Nigerian's energy sector. I think from the brief, we understand that majority of the conversations would be about the national distributed contributions, and I will be speaking for Nigeria on this call. And yeah, so for Nigeria energy sector, it accounts for about 65% of the country's total greenhouse gas emissions. And if you're from Nigeria, if you're not from Nigeria, you must have heard of maybe the Shell and Chevron cases. You must maybe probably have heard of Niger Delta region pollution or something like that. So yeah, on the 24th of August 2022, our country, Nigeria, energy transition plan was launched. Some of you on this call might know about it, and some others might not know about it, but I look forward to sharing the resources maybe after the session. And although the ETP, which we call it the Energy Transition Plan, aims to achieve a net zero economy by 2060, several areas needs to be addressed and also to help us achieve our net zero economy by 2060. So several areas needs to be addressed to achieve that goal, and this includes identifying and supporting low carbon energy solutions, for low-income Nigerians. I'm a low-income Nigeria. So for also developing natural gas infrastructure and modernizing biomass utilization. Recently, I was on the radio and I was speaking on how the Nigerians, right, can actually utilize biomass, the modernization of biomass and biomass technologies, because a lot of us might not actually know that. Most times people just tend to think about the only, they're not very aware with other alternative sources of energy for cooking and all of those things. So I was on the radio just, giving more insights about some of the technology solutions that are available for like cooking, clean cooking stoves and all of those things. So yeah, and also there will be we're looking at identifying and supporting energy efficiency in small and medium enterprises, and also reducing dependency on foreign climate finance, because at the end of the day, these things are really moving us into debt, right? Because these days we see that a lot of the finance that's supposed to be coming in are no longer coming in as grants. They're not coming in as a loan, like we see in African Climate Week. So we need to find a way to reduce dependency on foreign climate finance. So the Nigeria Energy Transition Plan also highlights the importance of bioenergy with carbon capture and storage in achieving net zero emissions. And still, Nigeria must also focus on cost-effective and realistic solutions. So we don't want to engage in technological solutions that very big, and at the end of the day it doesn't resolve our problems. So we are also looking at expanding forest cover while waiting for CCS technology to catch up, and also coordinating among relevant government institutions is also crucial. So we are looking at harmonizing policies and strategies and targets that will ensure the energy transition plan. Sorry, can you see me? I don't know if you can hear or you can see me. I want to be
can hear
settled.
you clearly,
We can
but we
hear
can't
you
see you.
clearly, but we
Okay,
can't.
now we can see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just a minute.
How much?
So yeah,
Huh?
if we're looking at
From
the
Kuala
wait, so I see somebody else is presenting together with me. That's cool. That's cool.
Sorry,
And I NDC.
I'm sorry, Chizo, but I think the person's mic is on. Don't worry, I'll just mute it. Yeah, sorry, apologies. You can go ahead. Thank you.
So for some of us that might be familiar with indices, or even if you're not familiar with indices, they are the national distribution determined contributions, and they are core part of the Paris Agreement, and they represent the actions country plan to undertake to address climate change. And the phrase nationally determined was adopted to emphasize the voluntarily bottom-up nature of the contributions, and also recognize each party's national priorities and circumstances. And NDCs are to be submitted every 5 years to the UNFCCC Secretariat, which embodies climate change adaptation plans and efforts to reduce national emissions. And when I was at COI, that's a conference of youth 18. I heard somebody from Bahrain. She was saying something about the SDG 2 and SDG 1, which is no poverty and zero hunger. And she was saying something as regards to that what majority of the global south, like countries like maybe countries in Africa might be looking at, to meet up with what they consider as their priorities, would be totally different from what people that are from, like Europe or from the Gulf nation that really has money and all of those things that they will really consider. So our priorities are actually different, even if we are all working together to meet the net zero goal. So the national determined contributions, actually each country has their own priorities, and for Nigeria, when it comes to energy, the federal government of Nigeria in 2015 submitted that was during the Buhari regime. It submitted an ambitious and transparent NDC, and the country was among, like, okay, let me say I'm proud of Nigeria today. Okay, no, I'm proud every day. So Nigeria was actually among the few developing countries to set an economy-wide target, and the NDC was updated in 2021, and it pledged an unconditional contribution of 20% below business as usual by 2030, 47% contribution conditional on international support. And considering that that economic growth has been lower than projected, with inflation and everything we are seeing currently right now, the level of climate ambition represents a significant enhancement, and as it will result in substantial lower absolute GHG emissions than stated in the 2015 national determined contribution. So the scale of the emissions reduction is consistent with the normal global 1.5 Celsius pathway, and Nigeria could actually reach peak GHG emissions that's the greenhouse gas emissions in this decade if it can mobilize the international support and private sector investment necessary to achieve this target. But why trying to mobilize this international support? We still don't want to find ourselves in debt. And also, several policy commitments have been made by the federal government of Nigeria to implement unconditional contribution. And this includes eliminating kerosene lightning by 2030. Like I said yesterday, while I was on the radio, I was actually talking about the elimination of kerosene and alternative source of, alternative sources of technologies for cooking. And this includes, eliminating kerosene lighting by 2030, a 50% reduction in the fraction of crop residues burnt by 2030, because like I said, I also talked about biomass technologies and all of those things. So instead of, burning our crop waste and all of those things, we can actually utilize them and use them for biomass technologies and, cooking technologies as well. So yeah, we're looking at reduction in fraction of crop residues burnt by 2030, and also implementing forest programs to deliver a 20% greenhouse gas emission reduction. And Nigeria's vision on climate change is set out in its recently updated national climate change policy. I could also share that link to you. And according to the policy, by 2050, Nigeria will be a country of low carbon, climate resilient, and high growth circular economy with an emissions reduction of 50%. So, conversations like this, we can agree that Nigeria is actually working towards that, building climate resilience. So we can say, okay, yes, they are actually working with, providing these informations, educating people, creating awareness. We can say that they are actually on the road, on the path. So we're looking at like I said, we are looking at our country is looking at a low carbon, climate resilient, and high growth circular economy with an emissions reduction of 50% compared to the current levels, and we are also moving towards having net zero emissions across sectors in a gender responsive manner. Yeah. And in November 2021, at the 26th Conference of Parties, that is COP26 in Glasgow. This one is that it's not like I read it. I wasn't there, but I actually watched President Buhari announce Nigeria's commitment to, achieving net zero emissions. And I can remember that I and my team also worked on, awareness and advocacy to ensure that this is being implemented. Like, one thing is to say something, another thing is to write policies, another thing is to implement those policies, right? So I don't know if there are any questions. I would appreciate the questions to be sent in the chat box, and I will address them just prior to my conclusion. So yeah, sustainable and climate neutral energy is crucial for economic and social development, not just for Nigeria, not just for the global south, not just for Africa, but for the entire world. It is very crucial for economic and social development. And the global climate crisis that we are seeing today can only be addressed through a worldwide energy transition. Energy transition is actually very important in addressing the global climate change crisis. And ambitious NDCs, ambitious national determined contributions are very necessary to achieve at least 65% renewable energy generation by 2030. And the largest, I would say the largest energy consumers and carbon emitters are from G20 and the G7, and they must lead with frameworks, right? In as much as we are preparing to, take on a transition, we are also looking at these people to lead. And sometimes, if I'm being sincere with you, I feel sad when I come across news that does not tally with news that doesn't tally with commitment. We go to COP, you hear a lot of pledges, you hear a lot of commitments, but when you leave COP, you start seeing things like people are trying to ship in oil and gas, and then at the end of the day, there was war with them and all of those things. You hear news like that, you hear about a new oil field somewhere else that they are looking to open. These are not things that I'm just saying. These are things that are happening. So sometimes when I go to these conferences and, you follow the conference, everything, the pledges, and you come back and you see things like that, it breaks your heart. But regardless, we in Nigeria, we wouldn't say because somebody out there is not keeping to their word, or somebody else there is not following up with their pledges and all of that, but we will want to our own. Very well said. The G20, the G7, we are looking at them, at least leading the way, taking actions and all of those things. But I can tell you that Nigeria is actually doing a whole lot when it comes to the clean energy sector. And nobody sent me or paid me to say these things. Is because I work in the clean energy sector and I see what's there. But at the same time, there are barriers. Like I tell people, the sustainable transition process is not something you just wake up and you halt everything and say, okay, no more this or no more that, and everything stops that day. It's a transition process, so it takes time. You want to look at how you want to build sustainable mechanisms in the gas sector. You want to look at how you want to build capacity. You want to know how you want to create awareness. Then you want to go to the places that maybe there's already